Greetings and welcome back to Megan Writes and my third blog entry. Today I'm going to talk about my current writing projects. I have 3 separate projects I have set myself to complete by the end of the year to start sending out to get published. I have a set of short stories, a novella, and a full-length novel. Now, in my last vlog, I gave a few examples of story ideas I had to help explain how to determine the length of each story. I talked about my idea for a novella that will be loosely based on Alice in Wonderland, and I discussed how each character will be teaching our protagonist, Allison, lessons about life. I said I would be working on what lessons each character would teach based on the Alice in Wonderland character that they were inspired by. And since then, I have worked out a rough idea of what they might teach. Now, the overall lesson I want Allison to learn by the end of the story is that she can do whatever she wants with her life, not just what she's been told she's supposed to do. Like, go to college to get a corporate job to work 9 to 5 all week simply because that's what you do. So the character based on the White Rabbit is going to teach her that it's never too late to change your mind. The Mad Hatter character will teach her to celebrate life. I already have a short scene sketched out where he talks about how everyone always just waits until holidays or birthdays to celebrate and do something special, but that people should really make sure to celebrate all their unbirthdays too. The character based on the caterpillar will teach the importance of knowing who you are. The Tweedle twins will teach that you shouldn't compare yourself to others. The characters based on the talking flowers will teach her that it doesn't matter what other people say about you, you should know your own truth. The Cheshire Cat will teach that the path everyone else says is the right one might actually be the wrong one for you. And the Queen of Hearts will teach her that you will never get anywhere if you lose your head over every little mistake. These are just general outlines, but they have given me a good direction to go with each character and what kinds of things they will do. For my set of short stories, I'm thinking of including 10 different stories. The short story I talked about in my last vlog, the one about personified socks, will be included. The other 9 are in different stages of development at this point, but I will give a brief description of each. These are in no particular order. One is a first-person story where the narrator tells us about her biggest fear and where this fear came from. A second story is about a coffee shop next to a cancer treatment center and an older gentleman who decides to donate money to pay for the coffee orders of everyone going to or coming from the treatment center. Another story is from the perspective of someone who has died, and it starts with them witnessing their own funeral. One story is about a tattoo artist that gives people tattoos that help them with something they need, like luck or understanding. Another story is one where the protagonist can hear the narrator and what happens because of that. It's going to examine if it's the narrator or the protagonist who is actually in control of their actions. One story is told through only dialogue from one person. We can tell that they are talking to someone else, but we don't hear the second person or know the whole situation until the end. Another story is sort of a wishmaster type story where a possessive boyfriend wishes that no one else can touch his girlfriend and the consequences of that wish. One story is a comedy about a zombie apocalypse from the perspective of someone who has become a ghost and their body has become a zombie, and their struggle to keep zombie them out of too much trouble. This one I read as a writing prompt somewhere and just had to write it. And the final story is about 2 doppelgangers who use each other's identities as alibis for crimes they commit. I still don't know how this one's going to pan out, but I had the idea and thought it would be fun. Now, these might change around or get switched out for other ideas I like better, but for now, those are the ideas I have for the 10 short story collection. The last project is my novel. That was actually inspired by my Good Omens fanfiction that got me back into writing. I have my story set in suburban New England instead of London, and my protagonist, Emma, discovers this privately owned library in her town run by a man in his 30s, Mr. P.G. Nilsson, and she ends up coming to the library practically every day to read nonstop. Eventually, she also meets our other main character, Brighton, who's a rare goods seller and brings Nilsson shipments of rare books. Since Emma is always at the library, she ends up seeing Nilsen and Brighton attempt to skirt around their feelings for each other, but ultimately fall in love. Conflict ensues, though, when Brighton's family threatens to send Brighton to the West Coast because they don't approve of Brighton's relationship with Mr. Nilsen. So Brighton ends up staying away and only coming by to drop off the occasional shipment of books just to see Nilsen every once in a while instead of being sent away for good. Emma decides that she needs to do something to help them to get back together again. But will it be enough? So, since the story is inspired by Good Omens, my main two characters, Emma really is just there as a narrator and a catalyst to get them back together. They are based on the main characters from Good Omens. Obviously, Mr. Nilsen is based on Aziraphale, and Brighton is based on Crowley. They won't be too similar, but you will be able to see the inspiration. So I will let you all know when these projects finally all get published, but it's still going to be a long journey. Let me know which stories you are most excited to read, and make sure to like and subscribe to follow me on my journey to become a published author. As always, I hope you all have a wonderful day.